Hello, this is Michael Cammack with Team Misconception, and I'm going to be showing off what I worked on for the final sprint in the game balancing course. So when we start up the game, we have our main menu. Since it is Dark Souls inspired, we still have the splash screen as Dark Souls. And in our options, we have the sound, we have the music that starts us off, and if we lower the music, we can hear that the music gets lower, music gets higher. We have it like that so that the player can tell where to adjust the sound. So that's for the music. It's the same for the sound as well, just to show that the sound does have that same level. So we'll go ahead and just turn it down low, hit the back button. It'll take us back to the main menu where we have our credits. We have our credits scene that scrolls our names and shows our team name, as well as some references. We can go back to the main menu, and then I will also show if we hit the quit game button down here, it'll let you quit the game. And so we'll open up the game. We'll open up the game again, and the quit button also works. It'll take you to a scene, let you know that you're quitting. You can either hit no, take you back to the main scene. If you want to quit, then you quit. Alright. And then we also have the start button. Let me turn this back down. We also have the start button, which will take you back to the, well, not take you back, it'll take you to the first level. And the first level is my level. Alright, so the start button takes you to my level here, which is the first level. It's the first area where you get basic movement. You're introduced to the bonfires and to a couple of gates in my area. So the first task that I'm going to go over that I worked on is enclosing my level. You could kind of just see off into the void, and I wanted to make it feel like the players here in this environment, so I added some more walls to kind of close off the area. So the completion criteria I have for enclosing my level is the player can't see outside of the level, and the player can't get outside of the level. So yeah, I just have a bunch of walls and everything surrounding the area. Now, here in the first level, you are introduced to the gate here. You can see that there's a moving platform in there, so you definitely know you want to get in there. And we have more breadcrumbs leading the way of where the player needs to go. They can pick up their soul here, and they're introduced to their first enemies. And then we have a shooting enemy over there where you can dodge the enemy's bullets. Now, the levels are a little bit bugged out, so I'm going to just continue through the progression. We have more souls that the player can collect along the way. And so for this one, there's a secret entrance here. If you ride all the way up to the top, there's another bonfire up there. But I'm just going to go ahead and progress through the level. Just like in Dark Souls, there's multiple lifts that take you up, and then you can drop down to get to secret areas. So I decided to make this the way that the player has to continue through. So now that they're in here, I'm going to talk about another bug that I had. It was for my bonfires, or not for my bonfires, for my levers. There was a placeholder text that said press F to rest at the bonfire, but now if you head up to the lever, you can see it says press F to open the gate. And so I did have a couple of completion criteria where I wanted to actually add sound to opening the gate. So when you press F, there's a sound cue for the gate opening. So that's a bug that I fixed there for my levers. And now we can continue on to the next area. So this was all my level 1, where you can just get through. You're introduced to your bonfires and to the gates. So we can continue on to the next area where we have another bonfire. And then we pick up the fireball spell, so now we can shoot fireballs at the enemy. So this is the start of the boss room. We gotta make our way through, defeat that enemy. And then there was breadcrumb leading over to this secret wall here. If the player hits there, they'll be able to come through here. So they'll notice that there's a little drop that's right here. So it's like, how do you get up there? So you'll see that there's the soul over there that leads you to come out this way. So in the second area here, you're kind of introduced to platforming. You're platforming without any risk, so you can jump up here. You won't really die or anything, and since you have the fireball, I think you can. Let's see. Right, and it takes a while for the health to regenerate at level 1, so we can make our way up and kind of cheese this guy. But here's a secret room. We have more of our levers, which will let you come out into this room here. And then we again have more platforming here. So in order to continue through, you gotta jump on these pillars here and show off your platforming skills. And there's very minimal risk. You can take damage from these shooting enemies, but if you fall down, you won't really be punished that bad, because you can just come back up and make your way through again. And here we have another completion criteria that I worked on, or another user story that I worked on. It's for the progression of this room. So I have a scythe that I created, and I made a ghost box so that the player can see that they need a key in order to continue forward. There's also another bonfire here. But if they head up to this lever, it'll let them know that they need a key in order to open the gate, which is right there behind it. So I'll go over the user story that I made for that. It was, as the player, I want a hint to guide me to getting to the next area so I can continue through the game. Completion criteria is that there's a missing scythe in front of the boss shrine, which is the ghost box there. There's text that informs the player that they need a key, which is when you walk up to it, it'll tell you you need a key. And that there's a sound cue when the spear gets inserted, which I will show here in a second. The next user story that I made was, as the player, I want to know the boss's health so I can determine how close he is to dying. The completion criteria for that is the Reaper boss has a health bar that determines how much health he has. The Reaper boss has a health bar that shows his name, and the Reaper boss has a health bar that goes down with each hit. So we'll go ahead and head into the boss room, where I'll show the UI for the boss. So it gets triggered once we enter the room, and I also want to go over another user story as well, is for when he drops his scythe. So it's, as the player, I want to know the boss dropped the key so that I know I can pick it up to continue forward. And the completion criteria for that one is a sound plays when the item spawns, and an item plays when the item spawns. So I'll go ahead and show all of that off here. So let's go ahead and defeat this boss. And so he has different phases, so when he gets to that phase, we have to run up here where we're going to use our spell that we were introduced to. So With that, we have cover that's up here, so while we're up here, he can't, or while we're behind the actual wall, he can't shoot us. So we can make our way over to the other enemy that's over here. We can get more experience from defeating this guy. And so we're just waiting to get 200 mana so that we can go here and attack him again. And so now that his health is below a certain point, he's going to go back to his ground phase where we can go and defeat him. So when he drops his scythe, it plays a clinking sound, and another smoke effect plays when the item spawns. So you need 5 souls in order to pick it up. We press F, and we can pick up the key. So now that the player knows that they picked up a scythe and they saw that there was a missing scythe, if they make their way back to the boss shrine here, now the text saying that you need the key is gone, and when you press F, it plays a sound cue, the scythe pops into place, and the gate opens so that you can go to the next level area. So that's what I worked on for this sprint. And now I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to my next teammate.